where we left off, Nora and Ralph, along with their charge, headed off towards the library. Nora, somewhere along the lines, had lost her fear of the rat creatures and was able to deal with one that attacked them. So that was a good thing. No more needing to run away, no more losing sanity off of them. Yeah, they're monstrous, but you can deal with this now. So it is a good thing.
You say that like it's going to be that way next time, and I don't trust it.
more like after a while, even the scarier some of these monsters, if you've seen them and dealt with them before, they're no longer going to be you're no longer going to be caught off guard by them. You'll be able to it's like going from the shrieking heroine in a lot of those adventure horror movies to the badass at the end who now double wielding guns. And yeah, that's basically that's basically what we're going for here, the potential of that happening. Or you're probably all gonna die, but the thing is that if you don't die, that's a possibility. Anyway, you made it into the library.
There's no leveling up, and it's nearly impossible to find a gun. Oops, I didn't mean to roll that. Ignore that.
That's okay. You went to the library. You started looking around at the books. You found some books on the old Empire of Milam and another book on the Divine Temples. You also found a book of prophecy and another on lores, myths, and religion. After doing a little bit of reading through these books, you connected the red shadow from the prophecy to a particular demon in the lore and myths selection. You found the reception area, found some notes, some paperwork. One in particular caught your attention, talking about kids acting up. Of course, you are right next to the school. Sorry. The reception area was in the school. Sorry. You got into the school, which was right next to the library. You went into the reception area, and that's where you found the note. My bad. I forgot to actually put a note demarcating you guys going into the school from brain. You checked out the office, found out about a few things, then started looking into classrooms as much as you could. Did you get one door open, or you just look through the window?
I think we're just looking through the window.
Okay. So you're just looking through the window.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, through the darkness, a white wolf came running up, and it wasn't one of the dog creatures. It was an actual wolf. Came right up to the kid, and started licking him. The kid seemed to recognize said wolf, and even called it by name, Devil. At which point, a young blonde-haired man came around the corner and stopped. And I think that's where we left off.
Yeah.
It's like, well. Look, Devil seems to have led me right into the right to other people, and among them, it's the nephew. Hey, kid, how's it going?
Is the other NPC going to respond to that?
I'm waiting to see what you guys are saying, since I being the keeper here, it's kind of basically I don't want to I want to see if you guys are doing anything before I start having a two-way NPC conversation.
Nora wants to see the two-way NPC conversation for exposition reasons.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that you guys were okay with that before I start getting into anything. And feel free to interject in their conversation anytime you want. I just will occasionally leave pauses and whatnot. It also helps me to rebalance and think for a moment.
Not right now.
All right.
Okay.
So the kid like reaches out and pets the wolf behind the ears and kind of looks the older man up. Clyde, what are you doing here? He kind of the somewhat older guy. I mean, he doesn't look that old. He looks like maybe late teens, early 20s sort of age, but it's kind of hard to tell. He's got one of those stages that could easily be, you know, a young 18, or I'm sorry, a adult looking 18, or somebody who could be early 30s and with a really good skin sort of type. Uh, and he just kind of like folds his arms and leans up against the wall and says, "Oh well, I've kind of been stuck in town. Me and Devil have been dealing with some of the nasties out there, and he picked up an interesting scent, and I decided, well, we might as well follow it. And looky here, you're here. What are you doing here, kid? Figured you'd be home in Stormfall." The kid kind of continues to pet the wolf, and his eyes just kind of look back and forth, which is probably hard for Nora to see, given that she's, behind him at this point. Is it? And he goes with, "Well, I was here to see the museum with with," and he swallows for a minute and shakes his head. Uh, then bad stuff happened, and well, I was stuck in the mall for a bit, and well, these folks found me. Um, and then the blonde man kind of like drops his arms, tilts his head. He kind of looks at the two of you for a moment, then looks back at the kid. He goes, and kind of squints his, I believe they're blue eyes. Let me. No, that's not a really important detail. They're the blue or green eyes. I forget. I need to look up his thing. He squints his eyes at the kid, towards the kid, and says, "Huh, that's not dirt on you. You got growing some scales, kid? Getting into my old man's lab or something?" And the kid just kind of looks away from the older guy, the older man, and or the older. He looks away from the blonde man and just kind of like nearly buries his face in the wolf. And I don't know, Clyde. I haven't seen your dad. I haven't seen the professor in a while. Um, and Clyde, the blonde man, kind of steps forward and looks at the human in front of him and puts out a hand and says, "Hey, I'm Clyde. Clyde Ezek. Who are you?" He's talking to you, Ralph.
Hello.
Quiet one, are you?
Yeah.
I dig that. I sometimes I talk I talk enough for two people. And he looks past you, over the top of his wolf, and looks towards Nora. "And what about you? Who might you be?"
Hi, I'm Nora.
He sticks out his hand to you.
I'll shake it.
Ah. And he kind of like pats the back of your hand for a moment before pulling his arm back, looking between the two of you for a moment. And then he settles on Nora. "I guess you're in charge then, since you're more chatty."
No, we work together.
"Well, one of you got to be the talker. I guess one of you's the strong silent type." Then he grins at Ralph. "That must be you."
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. Well, my pal Devil over there, he's the strong silent type. And the wolf was kind of like sitting on the ground, pawing at his muzzle, looking up towards the blonde man, and then just himself, Clyde, and then looking back at the kid. The kid's just still kind of petting him. So,
Clawing at his muzzle.
he's making that paw gesture at his muzzle, like because his muzzle has a little bit of gore and ick on it.
Ah. Okay, sorry. I thought last time you said that you didn't want a bloody wolf, and so
Well, he's not a completely bloody wolf, but I
Yeah.
figured he's got a little bit of gore in it. 'Cause, I mean, it's like Wales. That's the only picture I could find that's closest to his coat tone, because he's a light,
Okay.
he's light furred wolf. But Guy just kind of like nods. It's like, so yeah, you rescued the kid. That's great. But he seems to have something weird growing on him now, huh?
Yeah. So your sounds like your father's a professor. What is it? What is he a professor of?
Well, the kid there just calls him that. He's really the. And he kind of pauses for a moment and says, kind of puts his hands behind his back. Well, technically, since I'm not part of his house, he kind of rolls his eyes. Uh, it doesn't really matter what he is exactly, but he's the CEO of Imaru. If you want to roll a knowledge local or knowledge history check, I'll tell you what that Imaru stands for.
Is local a thing? It is
I think it
not.
might be history or something. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you've heard of this because it's probably one of the bigger companies in all of Emlarin. It would be somewhere between uh IBM and Amazon in terms of notoriety and all of that. Like not necessarily the biggest company, but one of the top contenders, if not. Um, and you would be aware with a hard success that they have a lot of medical patents. They have a lot of military contract patents. Some years ago, actually no, that wouldn't be years ago. This would be contemporary. They won the defense patent to build and protect the railroad that's going all the way to a nearby country called Hellspring. Or is that the fire? Yeah. No, it's the kingdom of the kingdom is fire down. It's one of my well-known adventures. Sorry, I hate when that happens. Hellspring is yeah, Hellspring is the country. Yeah, the country of Hellspring, which is nearby. It's a couple countries over, but there's a big mountain range. They're basically, you'd be aware from this knowledge. You probably heard about it in briefs. That saying that they've gotten permission from neighboring nations to build a railroad through them all against the base of the mountains, which are to um, the west of your country, Amlarin, which would go all the way to Hellspring, and basically help industrialize that nation. They won the contract to protect it and build it, so it's going to be meaning that they will control the resources between here and there, which is a really big deal. This guy here is apparently one of his kids, but you would also probably know from that history check that he has that the head of Emaru has 5 kids and 1 ward. You might not know the specifics about that, but in terms of agreements with his wife, who is a member of another house, uh, at least 2 of the kids are members of her house. Actually, sorry, 3 of the kids are members of her house, and only 2 of the kids are members of his house. And apparently, Clyde is not one of the kids as part of his house, which means he does not stand to inherit any of his businesses. None of his business interests,
Okay.
nothing. He has no influence over the company of Imaru at all. But he does, like, have to answer to his dad, that sort of stuff. It's a complicated aristocratic thing of a jiggy, but it's basically how that would
Yeah.
work. So it's
Okay.
like,
That's
yeah,
helpful because otherwise, the way he was talking, I was going to think he was illegitimate,
no,
which is a
no, no.
different complicated aristocratic thingy.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a potential of that, but that's part of the aristocratic agreements. It's like, it doesn't matter if he has illegitimate children. He's only claiming 2 for his house, and his wife is claiming 3 for her house. Of the
Yeah.
kids, and not even his ward is in any line of gaining any of his possessions or any of his household earnings, anything like that. So that's it's basically gets very complicated. Basically, it's a way of making sure that illegitimate children have no claim whatsoever to anything, which means that unlike Game of Thrones, nobody's going to run around killing them because they have no claim to thrones or businesses. Sorry.
Well, they're not supposed to have set claims to thrones. That's never stopped them from
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
claim
but
it anyway.
but it's in the
Um,
it's in the legally binding laws that no illegitimate child can inherit. They would have to have been taken it, even if they're legitimate, quote unquote, legitimate child. Only people who've been admitted to the house are allowed to inherit as part of the house, and so they can decide
Yeah.
not to let their kids as part of their house, even if they birth them. So the system
yeah.
protects against illegitimate children, basically. It also prevents, like, if a child really strays far, they can be kicked out of their house and have no claim at all. It's like, nope, the state will take the money if it comes down to it. So murdering your parents won't get you shit.
Charming.
No,
That's very aristocratic.
yeah, exactly, exactly. But that's how their system works.
Okay. So, you mentioned that he called you uncle, or you called him nephew. Are you
The kid
is one of his parents your sibling?
like that. Clyde laughs, and Aki kind of looks up and starts shaking his head. No, Dad's. And then Clyde cuts in with, nah. The Max is my dad's ward. Or after Max's parents died, he kind of like rolls his eyes and kind of does this weird look on his face, like it was something more than that. Uh, Max, he said, my dad decided that well, he had to look after Max and make sure that he was educated and kept safe. So he's kind of been around our house, our home, for a long time.
Would a history check explain what happened to Max's parents?
Like,
I can roll a new one.
You can roll a new one. Again, you would have to do hard success, because it would be one of those things that it's really niche information. But you are a history student, so it's possibly written. Okay, yeah, you have no idea what he's talking about. I was like, it's one of those things that some people, like, most people wouldn't know this, and this, and unless they're like completely studying this X, Y, and Z. But every once in a while, you run into somebody who has heard about this, and this because sometime when they were a kid, they saw somebody's news article on a wall somewhere, got interested and researched it for some obscure reason because it happens. So
okay, I just wasn't sure. Like sometimes, like CEOs are headlines here, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be like, oh, there was a news story 20 years ago, and like,
yeah, this would have been
knows about.
Yeah, no, this would have been a different kind of story. This would have been more niche instead of well known.
Well, nuts. It's too personal to ask someone I just met, even though I really needed to want to know. So, not gonna ask. I have boundaries. And I really want a wolf to eat rat monsters, so I don't have to keep hitting him with my tail.
So, what are you guys doing in here anyway? This is like what the school?
Ralph, do you want to take this one?
Well, we're just looking around to see what we can find.
You found anything so far?
Not really, no.
Yeah, too bad, but you found the kid somewhere along the lines.
Oh, back in the mall.
Yeah, so you said, guess you've been wandering around a lot of places then. So, what do you know so far? I'm curious.
Well, how long have you been in town?
Well, since before the monsters, that's for sure.
And what brought you here?
He thinks for a moment. Kind of makes a face, and it's like, no. I don't think it's best to get into that. Let's just say I had my reasons.
So is there something like an insight check? What are the It's not here. Was there an like something like that I can roll? Because he really wants to know everything we found out immediately, but he doesn't want it. Like he's cagey. I just
Psychology, maybe. Yeah.
the psychology.
Yeah, psychology.
Well, nope. I guess he seems super trustworthy. Or is that how that works? Like, because I as the player wasn't trusting him, but then I failed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, if you shut doors, there's time skips. Also, you can just disappear and show up somewhere else sometime later. We haven't figured out what causes that, but if you're in a group like this, you definitely don't want to close any doors between you because you'll lose each other.
Kind of like
And
looks
we think
between.
this might be.
As you're saying
Sorry,
that,
go
he
on.
kind of looks between the kid and you for a moment and goes, "Huh, that's why he said that he was here for he was in the mall for a while after you saved him." Yeah, because I haven't.
Possibly.
It doesn't look like it's been that long to me. It's been monsters. Time weirdness. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's been several days for us. Um, not, and I'm not including the kid in that. I'm gesturing between me and Ralph when I say several days for us. And we think it might be related to what caused the fall of the Old Kingdom. Isn't Emlarin what the Old Kingdom that was here
Zaladin.
before?
You would
Zaladin,
know that.
thank you.
Yeah.
We think it might be related to the fall of Zaladin. It sounds similar to some of the stuff that was going on there. Also, sometimes you get transported back in time. Not fun. Met the king of Zaladin. He's a jerk. We had to
You
run
met a
away from
king.
him.
Wow.
Very briefly. Again, he's a jerk. And yeah, we're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a drow scholar at the bar who might be able to help, although she's very fatalistic. We're just looking for clues everywhere, trying to figure out what's going on. We think it might have to do with the excavation they started as part of the museum, but we've already been there and we didn't find that much.
How is the museum holding up?
It's full of monsters. And some of them used to be people. Like, I'm pretty sure we met the curator and he's a spiny thing now. And he's like, he can talk and he's nice, but he's also really crazy. Also, the king guy from the past, it was also one of those spiny creatures. So again, we think we definitely see a connection, but we don't understand it.
Well, like that.
What have you seen so far? Sorry, you were speaking.
Some weird rats, a couple of weird dogs, these weird guys with long claws on their arms, that sort of thing.
Have you found anything about why this might be happening?
Kind of screws up his face for a moment. I don't think so. Well, I mean, the museum just installed that weird sarcophagus thing. If I had to be a guess, I would say it's check there, because you ever seen a scary movie? That's usually where those things start.
Agreed. And we went and we looked, and we managed to look in all the rooms, even though there were scary things. One of our friends died in there,
Aw.
getting us out. The sarcophagus doesn't open, and we couldn't find any paperwork about what might be in there. So
Well, if it doesn't open, no
we
one's
checked
gonna
out
know
the
what's
dig
in there.
site.
Really?
Yeah. But I got teleported away. Ralph, you were there for more of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what? When did you show up?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I showed back up like when we were in the past. I was there. I met the kobold, and then I was gone until you guys had been transported back in time to the king's castle.
Oh yeah. So we went into the hole or the excavation site that was next to the museum. And it just, I guess, it was just like a entrance to the past or something. Because we just went down there, and then that's where we ended up at.
Clyde kind of rubs his chin at that. So, if I head to the dig site, you think we'll end up in the past?
If that was the past.
Oh? You have
And
your doubts?
it's not. Sorry, go ahead.
A little bit, but I could be wrong.
What do you think it was, Ralph?
I don't, definitely entranceway to something, but I'm not sure if it was through like a different time.
That's interesting. It's hard to know anything for sure when you're teleporting around and some demon lady is talking to you in your sleep. It's just not a fun place and time to be, man.
Nope.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the portals to wherever it is are not consistent. Like we ran away, we ran into a temple, we ran up the stairs, and we got back here, and then we tried going back down the stairs to see if it was like, okay, step 3 is how you get back and forth, and we couldn't get back into the past or whatever it was. So you can try the hole; it may or may not take you to that other place. Also, your nephew got taken somewhere weird. That I'm not sure if it. I don't know if that was the past, but it was just there was some sort of portal involved, right? Okay.
The kid looks up from petting the wolf and starts nodding. Yeah, it was a kind of a temple-y place, kind of goldish. I remember big statue, altar. Uh, kind of nods.
And I just realized I never asked this. Ralph, is there a temple here in town? Could this be a place in town?
There. Yep. GM's note. You are in the country of Umlarn. No, there are no temples at all in the country of Umlarn because they have been banned by the state, being controlled by vampires.
Right, I remember that now. Sorry. So, secret golden, possibly pastime temple.
Yeah, basically private temples, aka a Bible study group in someone's living room, perfectly acceptable in the country. An actual church, no.
Akai, were there windows in the temple? Did you notice, or
Uh,
did it seem like
I didn't notice it. It felt dark outside of the gold. I mean, the only light seemed to come from fire that was bouncing off the gold. I think. It's so confusing.
okay? Well, that doesn't tell us as much as it could because they don't build a lot of windows here either. Uh, so it could be above ground and not have windows, but it could also be present day and hidden. Um, do you want to tell your uncle what happened to you?
Kind of frowns it. Well, it's like, and he kind of rubs his arms.
You don't
Well,
have to.
well, I got attacked and could have died. Managed to get away. But yeah, that's why they kind of points at the where the scales are. That's where these came from. Clyde kind of frowns like, "You got attacked, little kid? Uh, what was done?" And the kid just kind of shakes his head. Well, I mean, you're alive. That's good. But yeah, I bet Dad's gonna want to look at all that if we. And then he kind of says, "Yeah, if we get out of here. Yeah, if we get out of here, we gotta get you straight to my dad, and he'll take a look."
Because railroad barons are known for their medical knowledge. No, right, he has a medical tech.
Yeah, he's a head of biological develop. I mean, he owns the company, but the company holds patents. He's. Yeah. I mean, he's kind of like. He does have the medical knowledge and scientific background, so he's not like an Edison or anything like that. He doesn't steal other people's work and pass it off as his own, but he does run a company, which means a lot of other people's work are part of the company, not just his own work. But he knows what he's talking
Sure.
about when it comes to the stuff.
Okay. Okay. Do you, Clyde, do you know anything about the Red Shadow?
Uh, can you give me a spot hidden roll, please?
Then Ralph have one too.
Yes, both of you. Sorry.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's why we both roll.
Uh, Ralph. Uh, would you prefer hidden knowledge given to you in a whisper, out loud whisper in another roll 20 chat, or would you like me to write it out and whisper it to you that way?
Write it out.
Okay, give me a minute. All right. Just let me know when you're ready to act on any information I've given you.
Okay. Hmm. Well, I'm gonna whisper to Nora, uh, and tell her that I don't trust him.
Okay. Nora's gonna nod. She didn't trust him, but then she second guessed herself, and now you're confirming her initial thought. Um,
Clyde's just kind of leaning against the wall, looking at his nails now.
okay, but I did ask him a question. Did he answer it?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. When you lean over to whisper, is like he's rubbing his chin. He looks at his nails. He leans on the wall, and then after you finish Ralph finishes whispering too, and you whisper back. He kind of like looks at the both of you and says, "Oh, well, I have to admit, I did have this kind of weird dream before I found all the darkness around. You know, kind of like this weird red mist." Is that what you're talking about? Kind of mist, shadow, that sort of thing?
Okay.
No. Sorry, what was that, Ralph?
Oh, he was just talking in general. He wasn't talking to a specific person.
Excuse me.
Um, yeah, I was sorry. There's the mythical figure, the Red Shadow, the one who's mentioned in prophecies. Do you know anything about that?
Are you saying that out loud to Clyde?
Yes.
He
Yes.
just kind of stares at you and says, "Well, what prophecy are you talking about?"
Just it's one of those old prophecies that people talk about sometimes. I don't really remember it. I just remember that the Red Shadow was part of it. And yes, I am lying. Um,
Okay, he's
yeah,
just staring at you.
Okay. Let me pull up my thing and see. What about the Void Dragon?
He continues to stare. Are you just talking nonsense? Is this prophecy thing you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a prophecy.
You also mentioned having weird dreams. Did this prophecy come to you in a dream?
No, I'm a history student. I just know weird things. Um, Sorry. Um, we should probably get back to checking out the school in case in case there's anything in here we're gonna need to run away from. So
Yeah, it's a good point. Well, let's stand around here talking. If anything is in the school, it might have heard us by now. Well, it depends on how big the school is. It did look pretty big from the outside, so maybe if it was in the nearby rooms or something.
yeah, maybe you and Demon should go, or
Devil!
Devil.
He kind of
Devil.
glares at you for
Sorry.
the moment. His name's Devil.
Sorry. Devil, excuse me. Maybe you and Devil should go first in case his nose catches anything.
Yeah, guess that sounds about right. The mention of his name, Devil, just kind of like looks up. He's seems reluctant to leave the kid because he's getting scritches and everything like that. But eventually, he
Yeah.
pads back over to Clyde, and Clyde kind of leans down, ruffles his fur, and kind of whispers into his ear. And Devil starts padding off.
We were going in the other direction.
Like he kind of looks back and kind of raises a breath. It's like, well, Devil didn't seem to smell anything down here. I thought you were planning on using his nose for some. I mean, if you want to
We're not
continue to
tracking.
what?
We're using Devil's warning system not to go find monsters.
Oh, I didn't say that. I said he would have smelled it if it was down this hallway. I don't think there's any monsters down here.
Oh. Okay, well, we want to keep looking for clues down here, so
All
I
right,
guess
I'll go get him. You continue looking for your clues. Kind of walks off to wherever Devil is.
Nora's gonna like try to sneak and see if stand on the corner and
Roll
try to
stealth.
see if
Roll
if he's
stealth.
using that as an excuse to leave.
Roll
Okay.
stealth. For something that's sneaking, they hear him. It's like, yeah. He's just
Nope.
kind of it's around the corner, pet, and Devil, like whispering, kind of looks up. What? You're done searching already? You coming this way?
Nope. Sorry, I wanted to see how far Devil had gotten away.
No, he wouldn't go far.
Okay. Well, it's a narrow hallway. I'll let you go in front of me, and I'll follow behind you back to the others.
Roll persuasion.
Yeah, I didn't think that was
He
good.
kind of shakes his head. It's like, nah, Devil and I'll be fine over here. I'm sure there's nothing down there. Besides, you're looking for something else. I probably just get in your way. We'll keep the rear
Oh,
guarded. How about that?
what are you looking for then?
Well, clearly not what you're looking for. So
Okay. This guy's sketchy. I'm gonna go back to the others.
the kid kind of looks up at you. Like, what's wrong?
Um, let's keep going for a bit.
Okay.
So I think we had checked. I think I checked this door. And that's where the guy found it. Or no, I guess I was over here. I was outside the light. So I think I checked this door. So I'll check this one. And then I'll wait for them to follow me.
Ralph, are you coming, following after her? Or are you staying put there?
Don't fall.
All right.
What? Oh, Ralph, we're going the other way.
Okay, 'cause I was trying to find you.
There you go. uh, okay. Are you gonna check doors too, or do you? Just want to trust that my shitty rolls have found everything.
Do we know how many more doors there are left to explore?
It's all the black lines that stick out into the hallway are doors.
Yeah, this is an old school map.
So like the kid is on a door, you're on a door.
So it's like 2, 3. Okay, so if you count the one me and the kid are on, that'd be 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I can roll. 2. So we roll spot hidden.
Yep.
Did I find anything?
All right. You check that particular door. You don't seem to find anything out of order. I believe that one can be opened up. 1 second. Here we go. Do you open the door?
What did you say before that?
No, I was just remembering myself. I'm sorry. Do
Oh,
you wish to open this door?
okay, yeah.
All right. So you peer into an old classroom. Well, not exactly. Well, yes, it is old at this point because it is seems to have aged prematurely. It is very dusty. Um, you see desks that are mostly intact, as I imagine desks will actually last a while. But there are piles of things on top of some of the desks that look like they have been there for a long time and are essentially dust or dust adjacent at this point. Perhaps rotted pieces of paper or something along those lines.
So nothing we can use.
Let's see. That spot hidden check. Give me a luck roll, please.
It's up there.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice.
Good job, Ralph.
Do all three of you walk into the room or just Ralph?
I'll hold the door open. Like I'll stand here to keep the door propped
right.
while he goes in and
All right. So all right. So you start searching around inside the school. Looking for inside this particular schoolroom, like passing your hand over the vials of dust. 1 second. I need to find a particular table of mine that should tell me some very important information as to whether or not this room contains something important, because I think it does, but I can't find. I, for some reason, have these in the wrong spot. It's like I found a page for all of my school information and lost the page of other very useful information, which is just the way, you know? It's like you find one important page and then you have misplaced the one with the other listing of stuff that you need to know. And I was trying to think, all right, where did it go? I had it in front of me not long ago. I can picture it in my mind, and it's not here.
Is there a cat on it?
No, there's no cat in here right now.
Huh. That's a first.
No, it's just that I can
Have
picture.
you ever not had a cat in your room while you were playing?
To draw these papers out, see if it's on one of these. Because I can picture the list in my head. I just can't remember. I just can't remember where was on, the actual design of the list. It just tells me what important items are where at this particular time. Because I'd set that up to make sure that they had a specific list of that sort of thing. And now the list has gone missing. It went walkabout on me. It was supposed to be right in front,
And it's a
front and
physical
center.
list, not a. It's a physical list, not a.
Yeah,
file.
well, I've got files. I'm checking to see if I backed up that information on files. But I am also very old school. I like physical things in front of me that I can flip through.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No, this is just me slowly losing my mind on this. It's like, why? I was prepared. I had everything prepared. I actually had my food eaten and everything after all that, and now I am failing you as a keeper because my notes are missing. The very important notes are missing. Like, I mean, some things I'm good with
Not feeling
with making up on the fly, but other things, other things, it's like I had certain very important data, and I thought I had it all in the same place, so I didn't think to double check it before the game. So that's on me. That's my bad. I think I might have figured out where I left it, because I find this information and that. Why isn't this one here? The rest. Yeah, that's when I was writing characters. Fanfics. Why is all this information so scattered? So, do you guys do anything besides while searching? Just out of curiosity.
No.
Nora is considering shutting the door and talking to the kid, but she hasn't. But this isn't a good room for it. She doesn't want a room where tons of time is passing.
Okay, it's not in there. Is it in here? Nope. Those are old character sheets. Some of these are the same age as the other stuff. Ugh. Sorry. I was fine. The only reason I was asking is I tend to find silence makes it harder. And it's like, where did I put the information? So, oh. Hi, Hubert. Now we have summoned the cat.
Yeah, there's a cat. Now it feels like a gross game.
Yeah.
Not a gross game until there's a cat on
Yeah, and the fact that I have misplaced stuff that is important. Oh, that's because I didn't pull all of the other. That would help. I thought I had all of the pages in front of me on my desk, and I didn't realize I'd left 2 of them behind on my thing. No wonder why I couldn't find everything. In fact, here is the information, some more specific information on the school. Good. I found the information I was looking for.
Yay.
Yes. So, here's what you find. As you're searching through one of the piles of dust, you find what appears to be an intact metal bracelet. You pull it free from the dust and look it over. It's what color are these? I want to say silvery in color. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like you were still looking up what the bracelets look like. So.
No. I said. I said I think it was silver in color, but if I ever change my description, it's because I got the description wrong. So, because I'm picturing in my head, and it's like I think it's silver in color, but it is. It is a bracelet that you have discovered. Kind of a contiguous loop of metal, instead of anything with links in it. Hubert, no, do not eat cables.
They look delicious.
And that's my pen.
Oh. Caps and mechanical pencils are the worst. Erasers. Okay, well, Shoni, you're the one who finds this. Do you have any questions?
No.
Do you pick it up?
Yeah. Do I need to roll anything to see if it affects me at all?
Just
I
for
pick it up.
funsies, give me a wisdom roll. Wait, is wisdom a
Wisdom.
stat in this one? That would probably be
Intelligence.
sanity. Actually, I'm probably going to go with sanity roll because there's no wisdom. The closer one is probably sanity
Fuck.
over intelligence. Thankfully, things are good here. It's just that you have this warm sense that it's good to have picked this up. Hubert,
Yeah.
be a good cat.
You can get positives out of sanity roll?
It doesn't give you a positive, but it just it just feels good to have.
Yes. So what was it again that I picked up?
A silvery bracelet.
Okay. I'm putting it in my pocket.
The kid kind of looks at you and says, "What was that?"
And it's the bracelet. I show it to the kid.
The kid kind of looks at it and nods. Looks kind of fancy.
Yeah, maybe when this is all over, I can pawn it and make some money.
Was that the only thing in the room worth taking, or do we need to do more rolls?
This seemed to be the only thing in the room worth taking. Yeah.
Okay. It's fine. And you're ready. Keep moving.
By the way, Nora, give me an intelligence roll,
Yep.
please.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Damn it. I actually have a high intelligence and everything. Damn it. All right. I'll I'll keep the door open, but I'll come over here so people can get past me, and then we can keep going. Ralph, are you coming out?
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So we can check the rest of this hallway.
I mean, we were planning to do it, and I'm now planning to get down to this corner and talk to the kid about his uncle, as far away from being overheard as reasonable. But first, I'm going to check this door and keep failing.
Yeah, that
Ralph,
doesn't
do you
seem to
have
be
anything you
anything
want to do?
interesting. Actually, these doors back here, yeah, they don't have windows on them. They appear to be bathrooms.
Oh, okay. Then I look through this door.
All right.
If it's assuming it's a classroom.
Yes, it's another classroom, and in that one you don't see anything interesting through the window.
Okay. And once Ralph has looked through the window, I will hold each bathroom door open and look inside just in case. Because I need more monsters jumping at my face.
The door opens. It appears to be a relatively normal classroom, not an aged one. You see the occasional.
I was talking about the bathroom.
Oh, bathroom. Sorry. Uh, same goes for this particular bathroom. Given my role, is that the bathroom appears to be fairly normal. Doesn't look like it's been aged at all. Nothing out of the ordinary for a bathroom. It's kind of, it looks like that it was either used a little while ago or freshly cleaned. Like nothing disgusting left behind, sort of thing. But also doesn't feel like it's been stagnant for a long time. It's a push door, so it's not one of those ones that's easy to keep open if you go inside, unless somebody's standing there actively.
Yeah. Okay. What about this bathroom?
You push that one open, and this horrific smell greets your nose. This bathroom smells like, well, maybe somebody camped out in here for a while and didn't have anything else better to do with their time. Possibly they died in here, possibly they moved down after the stench overwhelmed them. Either way, you're now getting the stench. You don't think you're going to be able to get out of your scales anytime soon.
Do I see anything? Like, do I see feet or anything?
You don't see any evidence of a body, but you do see, well, gross, unmentionable things that are not of direct body concern, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, someone
Kind of
made
in the
art. I
back
get
of
it.
there. Not art exactly, more like that the toilets apparently failed functioning after a while, and they just kind of used the back corner, and maybe some water eventually leaked and spread it a bit.
Ew. Okay, I'm gonna shut that door. Ralph, do you want to check the classroom? Oh, and that's not a corner. Okay.
Okay, I'll check it.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary for the classroom.
Okay. I was expecting where Akai is to be, like, I was expecting this to be a square that we were going to go around, but this is just the end of a hallway.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna huddle up and I'm gonna ask Akai, how well do you know your uncle?
He's not exactly my uncle. It's just and not pretty. I mean, not that good. Uh, the professor, she usually complains about him. Says that it's a good thing that Clyde isn't part of his house.
Do you know why he says that?
I think he doesn't realize that I can hear him when he's saying that. It's usually one of those things like he's talking to somebody else in the staff when I happen to just be there, sort of thing. Um, but like he basically said last time I was there, but and he didn't realize I was listening. That he'd really hoped that being in the military for a while would, well, straighten Clyde out, and that he wasn't going to get him out of any more scrapes if he got into them.
Do you know about any of the scrapes he's been in?
Well, I've heard uh, his brother Alec talking about it. And kind of shivers when he says that. Alex, I don't actually like being anywhere near Alec. Alec's pretty nasty, and he gets away with stuff. And Alec likes to laugh and saying that Clyde's the screw up. The only thing he's good at is, well, stealing stuff.
Huh. But Alex Worth?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
That Alex Worth?
Alec. Alec is their mother's heir, uh, being the second born child. The professor, from what I understand, he's going down the cruel route of the Ezek household, and a lot of them favor their vampire lineage. Their mom has, well, she kind of favors some of her vampiric ancestry. She's not a full blood or anything like that. She's like a quarter, kind of like me and being part elvish. I mean, my mom's a half blood. Um,
Would I know what a quarter vampire can do? Or what an eighth vampire can do?
Basically, they're the typical undead vampires, and and singularly and alone, undead vampires. You know, they're nasty and all that, and kind of problematic, even if they're in small groups. If a large enough group of undead vampires for a long enough of period of time have a bunch of people as thralls and, like, servants and other than that they're constantly taking blood from, they accidentally spawn living vampires. Basically, enough undead mixture that doesn't become undead gets into pregnant women that they start spawning living vampires, and then living vampires can then have children on their own without being dead or undead in that matter. Living vampires can often sporadically become undead vampires once they're killed. Sometimes half bloods can also be risen a day or two after they've been killed if they're then given vampire blood. When proper rituals are explained, it's oftentimes like like part bloods like that would eventually be inducted into becoming full vampires in terms of undead vampires eventually. They basically train themselves that even though they're not born as actual vampires, that eventually they might be able to curry favor with their undead bloodline and be turned.
Okay, but do they have like psychic powers or
No, they typically
anything like that?
part blood. Basically, once you get more than half bloods, less than half bloods, they tend not to have any spectacular abilities that a vampire might have. So, in particular, it's usually just a particular mindset and particular personality type,
Okay.
not necessarily because they are this, but because they're deciding they're going to pretend like they're already this other thing and they're not. It's kind of
Okay.
like
Okay.
like the uber rich that don't care about empathy, that then raising their raising their kids to be the same when
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
can be anything. So it's kind of like that. That's
Yeah.
basically
Absolutely.
he's basically
They're
saying Alec is
acculturated vampires.
yeah, basically Alec is like that because he's following his mother's path, and Clyde is basically he's the backup. He's another member of the house. So he just basically gets passed over all the time. Also known as the screw
But
up.
he steals stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um. Because the red shadow absolutely sounds like it could be related to vampires. But um, and I was only re-skimming the prophecy, so I forget if it says more about that. I think it does. I didn't read that part, but huh. All right. I want to ditch Clyde, but he has a damn wolf that can track us again. Um, I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask Ralph. What did you pick up on while I was talking to Clyde? You kind of gave me the don't trust him signal. What came up there?
Because wait to find it.
Say what?
I can try to repost it too if you like.
Oh, I found it.
Okay.
Okay. So when we were talking about the red shadow, there was like a glint in his eye, or like like a smoke or something.
Huh? Was it
And
red?
yeah, it was it was gave me a really uneasy feeling.
Um,
What does that mean?
no. Where? Hmm? Oh, that's a guy. Sorry, go on. Like, why is the TM asking that?
He was asking what this after hearing that information about Clyde. He was asking what that means, and that in the kid that doesn't know what that could be.
Okay, what?
I mean, Ralph was the one who said. There we go. Sorry, Ralph. What were you saying?
Okay, what part were you doing understand?
So that was a question for Akai, right?
Yeah, he asked me the question. They asked me the question.
Yeah, it's basically the the way a kid might like ask about what what you he's wondering how you took that information, because it's hard for me to put into words exactly, because me being the keeper, I know what's going on here, and I want to make sure the kid doesn't know. So it's me trying to get him to ask you the question about what you know, which might be different from the way I interpret it, is sometimes a little bit difficult.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's asking you about something that I know very well, and so for me trying to interpret him not knowing is a bit hard. Sorry.
I'm just thinking of it like when a parent tells another parent, they're gonna do blank and then spells it. The kid's like, "What does that mean?" Like everybody else in the room knows what we're talking about. What are we talking about? There's an adult conversation here that I didn't follow. But yeah, Ralph, how do you want to answer that?
I don't know how to answer it.
um. Okay. Well. Uh. So. So Ty, he said he had a dream with red smoke in it, and there's red smoke in his eye, and the prophecy that might be about what's going on talks about the red shadow, and there are demons showing up in dreams and trying to control what's going on. So we're worried that he might be being influenced or he might be part of what's happening right now, whether or not he knows about it.
You
Well,
could have been
I mean,
myself.
that definitely Clyde, as far as I can tell. But yeah, maybe we should find a way to well, to not be near him. He kind of looks, but he's kind of blocking the only way out if he's just standing down there.
Yeah, well, we could go into one of these rooms and shut the door and then try to leave and see if he's still there. The only downside is that there might be monsters in these halls when we come back out instead of him.
Kind of nods slowly. Yeah,
So it's monsters either way.
Pretty much. Ralph, what do you want to do?
Do we have a need for Clyde?
I mean, other than kind of wanting to know where he is, I don't want that to be where I am at. So I'm cool with ditching him.
Yeah. I guess let's go into one of the rooms and shut the door.
Okay. Let's go into the classroom because that's the biggest space. Unless you guys want to huddle up in a bathroom in the clean bathroom.
I go into the classroom.
Okay. Does a guy come in or does he
yeah, he
run off
does.
to
Sorry,
Joey?
the cat decided it was time for scritches right as I was moving the lights.
Okay.
Which
Because
put me
look
on
at
it.
it, like he comes back and tells Uncle on us. So
Yeah, it was basically the it's on a different layer of the map. So he decided to stand directly in front of where the map was. So the layer button.
I'd like to do a more detailed search of this room since we're going to be in it for a little bit.
Okay.
It sounded like you had a general description of it though.
Yeah. Basically, a general classroom. You have cushions for students, little benches, some with chairs, like little tables. Some of them are fairly adjustable for different sizes. Um, there's the occasional scattered notebook that doesn't seem to have anything of value written on it, like maybe somebody was going to take notes or wanted to at least pretend like they were taking notes, but actually hadn't done anything except maybe doodle a balloon or something like that. I used to do that to my notebooks. I was terrible at taking notes back in the day. Uh, as you look around, I would like both of you to give me intelligence checks, please.
Uh-oh.
Mm.
Yes. Nice.
When you're looking down at the notebooks and the lack of notes, it gets you thinking about the fact that you have some notes on you. Um, Notes specifically about like artifacts, and then you remember you have notes on jewelry. Uh, and Ralph, you think about the fact that you found this really weird bracelet in that room back there, and you think about the notes
Oh
too that Nora
yeah.
has on her, and it's starting to dawn on you that there's something possibly related to this with your hard success intelligence roll.
Yes, there was a jewelry set and one piece was missing. I have a paper describing a jewelry set, the mayor, and theft. Um, I will bring that out.
Yeah. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. There was one piece that the curator still had, and the rest of them had gone missing, but were described in there. And as
I
you
remember, he had the necklace.
yes, he had the necklace, and as you which he still has, right? Because you didn't get it.
We didn't get it.
I checked your.
The
I was checking through
yeah.
your inventories and didn't see it there, so I don't think you guys took that.
It's possible that Jay's character took it, but
And if
yeah.
you did, you didn't loot the body, and so it's still to museum either way.
There was a fucking monster on the body. Okay.
That's just true.
You can lose the body.
So
Okay.
you look at the list and you suddenly realize that the description in the notes about the jewelry set matches the jewelry that that Ralph found in that room.
Is it possible, when we're looking at the jewelry and the notes, is it possible for me to get the same good feeling off of it as him? Is there anything I can roll about that?
Are you gonna let her touch it?
Oh yeah.
No, it just seems like a normal piece of jewelry to you.
Okay. Well, cool. We have one of the things the thief stole. I wonder if the thief was a child. The paper I have describes the mayor and the thief, but I don't think.
It
I
describes
don't
the
remember
thief.
there being a really
Wait,
good description.
the paper describes the thief.
No, what I wrote was paper describing jewelry set, mayor, and theft. So I don't.
Yeah. Okay. I was about to
I'm
say.
gonna go with no, because I remember there not being a very clear description of the thief. Like, I remember us asking him about it and him being like, "Some guy who got away."
Yeah. Well, the yeah.
So, but it looks like the thief came here and got stuck in a room for a while. Interesting. Maybe we should search the rest of the school and see if we can find it was a ring, right? It was a necklace, a bracelet, and a ring, or was it a necklace, a bracelet, and earring?
No earrings on any of that since you rolled a good success. Basically, the description was there were 4 bracelets and 4 rings and a necklace in the set.
I forgot about the multiples. 4 bracelets, 4 rings. Okay. There could be a ton of jewelry in here, or other places.
Actually, it might not have been exactly. Oh, sorry. That would be 3, probably 3 rings that they would have found, not 4.
Okay.
I just double checked my notes on the location of one of the items, and it's like, nope, that was never recovered. That was somewhere else.
Fair enough. I'm still going to search this classroom.
All right.
And my character sheet just disappeared.
Okay. Like Aki's watching you and says, "So, what are we gonna do about Clyde?"
Well, right now we're gonna hope that he's not there when we open the door, and if he is there, we're gonna walk out past him casually, we need to search the rest of this building. We'll tell him it was nice to meet him, and sounds like he's busy doing other stuff. So, and he's not super interested in searching with us. So, we can go our separate ways. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I mean, he kind of like shakes his head. Yeah, I mean, always cool. Devil's a good pupper, but yeah, it's Clyde's a bit off. He just
Yeah,
seems a little off.
I agree. Never blame the dog for the owner. Um, all right. Well, I can't find anything in this room. If there's a time slip in here, oh, you know what? We probably should have gone to the dusty room because we know. No, that's the opposite. Never mind. We want a room where the outside time passes faster than the inside time, and that's a lot harder to spot. So how long do we want to keep this door shut before we go out and see if he's still there?
So is there any way? Is there any way for us to know how much time has passed for us?
Not relative to the outside, no.
So basically, so we can't see like this sun setting through the window.
There are no windows, and it's always been dark since you've looked outside.
Yeah.
And there's no power, so we can't see clocks and stuff. Assuming they were working, which clocks also stopped. It's like midnight on the 26th or whatever, forever. Whatever the date was.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look through the window and see if there's like colored blurs running back and forth, but that would be the only way to.
Oh, that's right.
Really tell.
There is a window. It's just not the outside. It's the hallway. Yes.
The window into the hallway. Yeah.
Yes. Almost forgot about that. Yes. Please roll me a spot hidden check.
Those are going awesome. Next character, I'm putting all my points in his eye. Ralph, do you want to look out the window?
Oh, I did. I didn't see anything.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't see
Well, there's
anything out
probably
in the
nothing
hallway.
out there. We should go out. Sorry, what was that, Chris?
I said you don't see anything out there.
Yeah. Well, then that clearly means it's safe. Let's go out. Well, does anybody need to eat or drink? We have food and water, and we're in a safe place. How long has it been since we slept? We could sleep in here. Even if the time is the same, he might leave.
That's up to you guys.
Well, just like, how long has it been? Like, physically, does it feel like it's been 16 hours?
Well, that hasn't been 16 hours as far as I'm concerned. Let's
Okay.
see. You were last asleep at the watering hole. You walked around. You went to the library, did some research. Probably took you, 2-3 hours. I'm guessing. You came in here, did some walk around. I'm guessing another hour. So it's been 5-6 hours since you last had a major sleep. If I'm doing the math right.
Okay. So yeah,
But
not sleeping,
you
but
can
we
take
should
a
probably
nap.
eat.
I mean, you could take a nap. This is what in D&D was always called a short rest.
Yeah, but we don't get anything for that, and then we'd have to set a watch anyway because I don't trust that guy.
Well, I mean, short rest, you're not like
So.
fully asleep. You're just in a limited activity so that your body can refuel itself. So eating during such a period is perfectly acceptable.
yeah. So basically, like I have all this food, like I have all this, we have all this bread and water and pretzels, and we haven't eaten once in game.
Well, I'm always assuming that you're like eating when you need to, like take a road snack and
Okay.
whatnot, or like when you go to rest, you're taking out some of your food and eating it. I'm not thinking that you're because
Okay.
else I would be rolling saying you are running low on stamina because you haven't eaten.
Okay.
I like to have a nice general overview,
Well,
not a moment to moment stuff.
fair enough. Ralph, when do you want to leave the room?
I think sleeping would be good in here.
Okay. So a couple hours.
Yeah.
All right.
Aki kind of gestures at the some of the desks and says, since the door goes in, why don't we move the desks around so that no one can get in?"
That's a really good idea. Let's do that. Let's barricade the door. I don't suppose it has a lock on the inside.
No, it does not have a lock.
Okay. Because even in a world with, well, never mind. Okay. Yeah.
This world doesn't have the problems that our world does, at least not in
Yeah,
this.
that's
So
what I was thinking too. Like they have monsters and dragons, but they don't. Yeah.
they got one. They have magic that can unlock any door. They don't. But of course,
Oh,
there's
that's
other.
a good point too. Okay, so we barricade the door and then we sit down and rest. And yeah, actually, Ralph and Aki are both injured, so they might need sleep, like more
Yes.
sleep than I
Yeah,
do. Like,
and that
I
extra
think that
rest
might
will
be a good time for a
allow
nap for them.
regrowth of at least a hit point if you're still down. Because I believe we only healed up your major wound because it was gonna detract from gameplay.
Yeah.
As I said, if we ever get around to playing together a standard Call of Cthulhu set in our world, then that would sideline your character for a while. But then again, your time compression would probably you'd have weeks, months to investigate things instead of you're constantly on the move sort of situation. So that's why I made that ruling. It's like, well, it's like I want to play hardcore, but I don't want to. I also don't want to detract from the fun. So making somebody stay completely sidelined for entire episodes because of a major injury is not fun. Whereas like having them struggle with it for a session is good, but having them struggle for multiple sessions in a row when there is rest available is not good.
Yeah. Okay, so we barricaded the door and they're napping. Does anything happen during this time?
All right. Make
Other
luck
than the
rolls.
hit point. Oh shit. I didn't sleep, by the way. I should say that they're sleeping. I'm staying.
Yeah, I
Like
gathered
I'm
that.
resting, but I'm awake. Yeah. Just in case this is a dream thing.
So Ralph, what about you? Where's your luck roll?
Oh, it's at the top.
Nice. You're rolling pretty well today.
Let's see. What is your current status on your character sheet? All right. You actually fall asleep immediately when you get down on all those nice cushions and stuff. And when you wake up, you feel rested. And in fact, instead of gaining back 1 hit point, you gain back 2 hit points.
The bracelet is magic.
So so how do I regain sanity?
You haven't regained any sanity, but you have regained 2 hit points.
Okay.
Yeah, sanity is one of those things you don't exactly get back. At least not in the frame of a particular adventure.
How do you get magic points?
Uh, I don't know exactly, but they're not germane to this adventure, so.
But
So
my
we're not.
character knows magic. Damn it!
Well, I mean, you know D&D style magic, so you know maybe a cantrip or two. The magic points
Okay.
don't count towards a cantrip.
Okay. It's been 2 hours. Do we want to stop here? Or do we want to keep going?
Is this sorry? Is this where you want to end off the session? Just waking up from your nap.
They're just pointing out that it's a natural stopping place. It doesn't have to be where we stop.
It's also a good stopping place, but I just want to double check with you guys first. Okay, I'm gonna keep this page in with my note page instead of letting it go elsewhere. That way I won't misplace it again.
Ralph, do you want to stop or keep going?
No, I can. It's fine. It's fine with me. You can stop.
Okay.
Okay, that one's got the school
This was
information
fun.
in it.
Oh yeah.
I met a creepy, smarmy dude. I did not miss what he did with my hand, by the way, Grizz. I caught that.
Yeah, Clyde. I don't usually get a chance to play very often, but I do have notes on how how I've always wanted to play him, because I think originally when I created him long ago, it was for a D&D game that never really got past the session 0 for me. So it's like he kept bouncing around until eventually I figured out he landed in this adventure. And then I realized that in the Surrey family tree there was a Clyde already there. I'm like, wait a second. And when I was putting together the history of the region, I'm like, wait, so which is the family, the house that Imru that controls Imru. I realized that wait a second, there's a Clyde over here, but his last name is Ezek. But in big houses and aristocrats, you might not you might have kids with two different last names because of house rules. And so what if what if he the head of the Surya household married one of the heads or important people from the Ezek household, and so that made one of his kids or two of his kids probably an Ezek instead of a Surya. So it's like, oh, okay, so those Clydes are the same thing, and now suddenly it makes sense as to why he's in the story instead of this random person named Clyde Ezek wandering around town with this, and this. It's like there's actually a reason he's connected to the kid. And there's a reason for him to be there instead of just one of another random people. That just made too much sense to me. It's like I kept running into that sort of connections in my stories. It's like figuring out people's connections just based on same names or coincidental species that I didn't intend on. I think I should stop the stream here.